Hello, it's John from DoubleSleeved here, and welcome to Drafting with John, where we will be drafting some more Zendikar Rising. We are right down to the all coins for this one. Need a big win, restock them gems. If you like the video, make sure you like it. And you know, like no one actually likes these videos. As in presses the button. I get like 2 or 3 and I know exactly who they are. And it doesn't take much to do it. And subscribe. Like, we're over 300 subscribers now. That's mental crazy. I will put out good content. I'm not the world's greatest Magic player, but I do my darndest, okay? So, the last couple of videos have been a bit shaky, maybe. Maybe I put one out, maybe I put both out. We'll have to wait and see how this one does. But I've definitely done a couple of drafts that haven't gone particularly well. So, we've got to pull this one back round, get the 4, 5, 6, however many wins, and we'll be laughing. Okay, so we're starting off. The rare is okay. It's not my favourite thing, but it's okay. 3 mana enchantment in an aggressive red deck. Basically, play a land, it exiles a card. You can play that card, or it'll ping the other person for 1, or however many lands you've dropped. Good in like landfall, I guess, and good, like I said, in aggressive red decks. Then we've got the old rogue double face. I have tried rogues. I'm not sure how successful I was, but this is a good card to put with them. And will probably be the pick. We've also got Shadow Stinger, which isn't a bad rogue either. The only thing is, it kind of sends messages that we're not going down that rogue mill train. And the other is the Ravenger's Mace. So, you know, I feel like they're all kind of middly. I think the rogue's probably the best, this Black Broom Rogue. You know, 2/3 menace that becomes a 5/3 menace is pretty good. So we'll take that and we'll see where it leads us. Okay then, so we've got Nahiri's Lithoforming, which I have seen work before, but it is very tricky, very specific, and not what we're necessarily doing. Although it would probably work pretty well with the Lithoform. No, with the other one, the Exploration. You sacrifice lands, you draw cards, you play lands, basically. The Kite Sail Cleric. Not for me. It's specific for clerics and potentially party deck. Dry Disruption, not the best modal double face. I'm not into it. Iridescent Hornbeetle. Bit of a counters matters setup, but we're not locked in with this rogue. And to be honest with you, other than this Hornbeetle, there really isn't anything. You know, the last person's clearly taken a common, probably a Royal Eruption or an Into the Royal or something similar. And I don't blame them. We'll take the Hornbeetle just to see what happens. We've not actually had a good green counters yet. So, okay. So the rare's gone. And so is a common. Zoff Consumption. Good card. Late game. Hits for 4. You gain 4. Kind of an 8 swing, which is pretty good. But it does cost 6. But then it is also a tap land. I like Skyclave Geopede. It's one of those where if you can get it to land and pump it, you're laughing. Then you've got Lol Mage's Familiar. Is this the card? I think it is suitably good enough for us to go for it. And almost purely because we've got a rogue card and we've got a 1/1 counter card. And there is none of any of that. We could just hedge with the Zoff Consumption, but I'm all for trying something. So Lol Mage's Familiar. Here we go. Okay. The lack of direction continues. So the 3 decks we're currently looking at are Rogues, Kicker, and 1/1 counters, of which literally there is a rogue, there is a couple of weak kicker cards, and there are no 1/1 counters. We're going to take the removal in black, and we're going to just have to wait for a direction to come to us. Shepherd is probably the next best card, or with Wizard, but we're not going down the Wizard route. We're not going down White. Syndiclasm's like weak. The Duelist is okay. The Diviner's pretty good, but again, it's very Wizard heavy. Oh, geesh. Not having a lot of luck here at the moment. This seat seems somewhat confused. Okay, maybe this is giving us a bit more of a direction. We've got an Acquisitions Expert, which is a pretty good, it's a 1-2 for 2 that, if your party's fairly good, will bump you up a little bit. It's a Rogue, which is okay. Subtle Strike's pretty good. I'd want to pick one of those up if I could. And then you've got some red cards, which we're not currently looking at. I don't really rate the Cleric. And then some sort of meh equipment. So we'll take this Acquisitions Expert to try and get something out of our opponent's hand. Okay. I think we're going to have to go Gnarled Colony here. The Wayward Guide Beast is kind of a very janky thing that it doesn't work really the way you'd want it to, but late game I guess it bounces a land to your hand if you really want that for landfall triggers. Mind Drain is okay. Having one or two of these isn't the worst thing in the world, certainly not in sort of a melee kind of format. Field Research is okay if we're going kind of blue, but at the moment I'm going to take the Gnarled Colony because it kicks and it counters. So it kind of does the two things that potentially we might do. We'll see. We'll see. Excellent. So yet again, not a lot here for us. We're gonna go for the Muglord. It's a black counters matters, maybe kind of weak synergy card. Let's just take it and move on from that pack. It kind of makes me sad. Okay, so there hasn't been any white, clearly, because there's an Ahiri's Binding sat here. I think it's kind of lowering its greatness, if that's such a thing. That was a really poorly worded thing. So we'll go for a kicked Arbor Mage. It's a good uncommon. 2-3 for 3 isn't awful, and it's a wizard. But if you kick it for 3, you can make all of your opponent's creatures target one thing. So out of the pack, it's certainly not the worst thing in the world. And now we're into kind of, we don't want any of these cards territory. If we go Counters Matters, Oblivion's Hunger isn't awful. It's certainly not lighting the world on fire, though. Excellent. We'll take a Vampire Warrior. Oh, the Zoff Consumption came round. Looks like we're the only one in black. And the Zulaport Duelist, just in case. We'll take a Kite Sail because we don't want two of those. And we'll take a Utility Knife. Excellent. So, okay. I've yet to play this card. It's a 2-mana demon. If it was kicked, each player loses half their life rounded up. Its power and toughness are equal to 20 minus the highest life total among players. So late game, this comes down and is just a big threat. It doesn't fly or anything. It's just a big thing. I don't know if I like it. It has got kicker, but we wouldn't be playing kicker in black. If we didn't, we'd go into the Royal and kind of lean into the potentially kickery situation. I think we're going to go that way because it's not Counters Matters. If it was a Counters Matters card, I'd take it. But I'm going to send a signal to everyone to say if you want to go that way, you can. We're not in red, but these are great cards. A lot of people like Tangled Florahedron. It's not my favourite. I'm going to take a Feed the Swarm just because I feel like it is good removal. We have a Vanquish the Weak. So it's okay. We still haven't got a direction at this point. There's nothing in here that is good from a kicker perspective or from a Counters Matters perspective or even from a rogue perspective. So there's another Horn Beetle. There's also a Wind Robber. I'm not offended by another Horn Beetle. We'll see if we can make it work. We are passing a Rabid Bite. And maybe the Rabid Bite's the better option. Maybe the Horn Beetle comes back round. I think first Rabid Bite's probably better. Okay. So, are we drafting 2 decks or are we drafting 1 deck? I feel like we're drafting blue, black, green, kickers, rogues, counters. I feel like the card is Skydancer here, and we just see where it goes. We're going to be making some very late decisions. Hagro Constrictor or Shadowcat? I think Hagro Constrictor will wheel. So I'm making some decisions here. But they might be the wrong ones, because we're immediately taking a duelist. Okay, exile all creatures and planeswalkers with converted mana cost 3 or less from the battlefield, and all creature and planeswalkers with converted cost 3 or less from graveyard. Another Horn Beetle, you say? Well, let's go for a second Horn Beetle and maybe get a third later on. I don't mind a Scale the Heights. I'm not that in for the Pelakka Predation. We'll take a second Oblivion's Hunker. So the rogues aren't awful in this kind of weird thing we're doing, but they're certainly not great. I do not want these cards. We're kind of going black with a bit of green at the moment. But we're in some need of some cards. So if we take out anything that we would play, yeah, so at the moment we need some more 2s. That's basically a 4. Yeah, so we need some 2s. And possibly even the Death Toucher. The little Death Touchy one. You know the one. What does our mix look like? Wizard, Warrior, Rogue. Ah, we got the Hagro Constrictor at least. Right, well, here we go. This thing. Opponent discards 2 cards. We return a 2 or less mana and we destroy 3 or more. I'm not all that bothered by that. We've got a Fight spell, or we've got a Kick Returner. What have we got with Kicker? Gnarlid Colony, Arbor Mage. Yeah, okay. There's a Rabid Bite or a Colony Ambush. I mean, Rabid Bite's the better version. There's a Roost of Drakes. Oh, man. So maybe we've drafted incorrectly throughout this entire thing. We're going to take the Blight Blade. Okay, that's a countery little counter. Counter guy. 2-drop that we're going to want to kick, but it is what it is. Yeah, I mean, I'm not in love with our deck at all. At this point, it's kind of just what it is, which doesn't really make any sense to anyone, but so are we I think we are a Hagro Constrictor just for the 1/1 counters. We're pushing right through the 2-drops like there's no tomorrow, with the hope of, you know, nothing happening until our 3-drops all land. Okay, so whenever you kick a spell, we're not kicking spells, which is a shame. We could have, but we're not. We're going to Deadly Alliance. Good removal. Our party is weak. We've got a rogue. Specifically, we've got a wizard, a warrior, 4 rogues, and no clerics. Because the Arbor Mage is a wizard. But we're happy to take this Deadly Alliance. Okay. Thought the Grave's a good card. Maybe we get the Mucklord? Unlikely. Unlikely. I'm going to take another Vanquish. Because there's not a 2-drop creature here. The Vastwood Fortification's okay though. Oh man. Strength and Solidarity. Choose a creature you control. Put a 1/1 on it for each creature in your party. That probably just puts 1, maybe 2 at the push 3 1/1s on something at sorcery speed. Yeah, so our deck is not tight at all. Are we blood beckoning? Do we need something to get back? Let's beckon some blood. Let's get another constrictor in on this mess. And a shadow stinger for good measure. And then we can play around with getting rid of all the rogues we don't need. Ha! Them rogues. Am I right? Let's mind drain just to really irritate them. And then, at the very end, we are left with the Mucklord. Well, what a car crash. What an absolute nightmare of a draft. Let's just get rid of all these swamps. Let's just not even play any lands, I think. So, what's the fashionable thing to do? Is to like... Oh, whoops. Is that right? Oh, look at me. Pretending like I know. Okay, so we've got a couple of those. I mean, in terms of removal, we've got to Feed the Swarm, a couple of Rabid Bites, a couple of Vanquish the Weaks, and a Deadly Alliance. We are pulling stuff out of the graveyard with Blood Beckoning and with Thwart the Grave. You know, we've got 14 creatures, so we're going to need to get rid of some of this stuff. We'll get rid of one of these Oblivion Hungers, this whatever Solidarity nightmare we've got. These 2 are going to be counted as lands, so we can ignore one of each of those. I feel like this Mucklords are not doing enough. The Shadow Stinger and the Flying Rogue of Doom and the Arbor Mage. Ah, yeah, brilliant. Just what I hoped would happen. So 14 lands. I'm thinking we need 1 more. So what's our card draw situation? It's just the Shadow Cat. That's an annoying blocker. You know what? We're going to get rid of the Hunger with the view that we're probably going to be letting our stuff die so we can get it back out of the graveyard. Ooh, I don't play green very much. I feel like that's right with the double for the Thwart. We're obviously heavily black, but we've got the double there. No way of picking these up, but it is what it is. Creature count 14, non-creatures 11. So what is this? It's a counters matter question mark, because do they even save that little deck for no one's care? Right, well, I like my eyes trained towards the resign button there. Also, apologies if you can hear the rain hitting the roof. I will be getting some sort of cover for the mic. I have a pop field, but it doesn't seem to work that well for other noise. I think I said it in one of my other videos, but looking to do some streaming soon, a couple of weeks' time, sort of November. If you're keen for it, let me know. A time you think would be a good time to do it. Obviously, I'm in the UK, so I've got to consider that for everything, but I'll just be doing it as and when. I might... Oh, Noble 1911 818. Okay, I mean... That's kind of what we would expect. We've got a turn 3 play, a turn 4 play. As long as they're not aggressive, then I'm not sure I'm that bothered. Yeah, so they're looking to fix or just get more forests. So this is fine. The Constrictor can come down and then attack with the sweet, sweet knowledge that... Okay, so they're having to play Gnarl It out straight away. They could Rabid Bite, which would be annoying. Otherwise, if they want to attack, that's up to them. Okay, so we might have a little mirror situation, which is fine. We've not got a mirror situation, but interesting card there. So they obviously can't block due to the menace. The Shadow Cat means that if the Constrictor dies, we draw a card, which is nice. Also has good block on the Gnarlid Colony. Things we've got to be aware of are Rabid Bites, obviously a lot of removal in black. There's the Fight spell, which is a modal. Try and play a little bit more strategically. Okay, so they're also doing the whole counter thing, although they've got nothing with counters on at the moment. Attacking with the Blight Priest, it can go through. That's fine by me. Okay. So I think our options here are we can bite. I think biting the Shadow Cat's probably the right decision, and then playing another Constrictor. I don't know why they are saying nice, but that's fine if that's what they want to do. We've got Vampire next turn, which will be our only party card. We're going to struggle with flyers. The best thing we can do against flyers is literally just kill them. Yeah. as if by magic, they have a flyer. So we kill a Constrictor, we draw a card, we grow that to a 4/4, and it also has Menace. Next turn we can gain 4 and they can lose 4. I think that's the right thing to do because we've got good block on both of these. The Constrictor it would stop the Shadowcat having Menace, but if they're going to attack with 2, they're not going to leave one thing open. Okay, so they're trying to find an answer because at the moment they're obviously not got one. They obviously didn't realise they lost life. I think anything that gives counters puts us in a good place. Puts us within Zoth consumption range next turn. They can't block everything. And we draw a card off the Constrictor. Yeah, so we're feeling good. They can gain some life, but as long as they only gain 2, we should be fine. So that's 1, which is fine. They can play another creature. Yeah, they're not in any kind of... So that's fine. Yeah, so they're not in a... they're not in any kind of counterspell colours, so... You know what? That went pretty well, I have to say. Some good synergy. I think we drew fairly well. Okay. Completely different deck to one we've played before, and I don't think it's the best iteration of the kind of deck. You know, like your Scute Swarms, they're not really what I want. But anyway, there are other cards that I think are better. So this is a tough hand, but we're going to keep it. We've got 3 turns to draw another land. Yeah, we got one already, so that's fine. They're in red, which isn't a good sign, or they didn't play anything turn 1. Bug Catcher's annoying, but not the worst thing to start with. You know, Mucklord. Mucklord trades well, but probably not straight away. We've got to be careful. So there's a lot of combat tricks going on in red. Yeah, that's annoying. But they're using their resource on a potentially fairly weak creature. And they're just getting rid of their Kazul's Fury. Okay, so they've obviously got something they want to do on 4. I feel like we just have to keep baiting out. Yeah, so I mean, if they're playing that kind of hyper aggressive game, then we're going to struggle against that for sure. That bug catcher is going to get bigger and bigger. Three toughness is a bit of a weakness. Oh wow. Yeah, we really have to just get rid of that bug catcher. I think we're dead on board. Because they... There's no way I can even draw. That hits me for 2. That hits me for 2. Yeah. It was just very aggressive. So, starting off with nothing but 3 drops isn't ideal. Them having, was it 2 straight removal? Tough. If I hadn't have blocked, then it would have been more. But 1-1. We'll carry on. Like I said, this could be a 4 win. That'd be nice, or potentially a 5 win. We don't really want to be sat here with another 1 or 2 win. We'll keep this. It's got our premium removal for the first time. We're gonna have to play the rogue as a rogue in order to have a 3 drop at least. But you know, mana at least isn't becoming too much of an issue here. Okay, a 1-1. We don't really want to Rabid Bite a 1-1 flyer. It's lifelink, which is great and everything. If they put a counter on it, it becomes a little bit more annoying. Oh, hello, friend. We certainly do want to Rabid Bite that, though. In fact, we probably just want to get rid of it like this. If they must have a way of getting that out of the graveyard, though. Great 1-1 counter on it, though. Okay, lose a bit of life. That's fine. Fine by me. This is a good card in so much as you don't get to see what they take, but costs 2 life. Only the top 4 cards. I guess you can get land if you need it. Okay, so hopefully we've got an opportunity to stabilize now. We either double spell with Constrictor and Rabid Bite, or I think we want to go... You know, we're currently winning the race at this point, and I think the Rabid Bite is going to be more useful when the Highborn Vampire comes down at 4 power. Which, if I draw a land, I can do next turn. I can always double spell next turn with... Yeah, so that gets a bit more annoying. So Menace is going to be really useful against this Blightblade. I had to get rid of that Reef because it's just going to grow. Wow. Yep. Yep. That's annoying. So everything's got menace. That needs to be blocked by both, kills them both. We want to get rid of the Oran Reef this turn, preferably. And we can always get rid of the Tabaraks. If they don't attack with the Oran Reef, then we can vanquish it. But if not, we'll vanquish the Tabaraks. We can double block the Oran Reef, which would be fine. I'd happily trade 1 for 1. Okay, we draw a card. There are worse cards to draw. Okay, so we get rid of their last card. That's good. That opens the way up for the Shadow Cat. Next turn we can lay down some hate with the Gnarly Colony. I don't like that they've got a card in hand, but it is what it is. I want to get rid of that Oran Roof, really. I don't know what they've got in hand. That's not good. See, we didn't get any skeletons, which is a real shame. Okay. So we've got somewhere here. It was a risky strategy, but we had to do it. So the Blightblade hold back to the use. Are they just going to hope to draw into... I think I've got to block Moss Pit with Shadow Cat. They can just keep attacking with that. To gain 1, hit me for 1, ping me for 1. I've got like a 3-turn clock now. Obviously, I don't know what's in their hand, but... that helps. Does it help? They just play 2 creatures, I think. And that does it. Okay, it gains us a life. I'm not sure what we're looking for here, but yeah, that's not ideal. Okay, we're on one life. I mean, they attack with everything next turn. Yeah, maybe the gas is not there where it needs to be. It's just that early game. You know? Well, we'll see if we can get a couple more wins out of this deck. If not, it is what it is. Sir Mittens. Dr. Sir Mittens. Okay, so we've got some early things to do. The reason I'm playing that out is because I want... It's annoying, but... I can scale the heights that. Next turn. Which pumps us into... the Shadow Cat next turn. Which is always good. They've got an easy kill on that though. It's 2 power, sorry, 2 toughness, which is relatively pretty weak. That was a bit weird. A bit lag. So they can counter that, obviously, with the counter spell that they've got. That's so annoying. Oh. Oh, okay. Or not. Locked up for a turn. Okay, there's not much I can do now. Some shenanigans going on with Arena. So I've got some removal, which is good. Got a bit of synergy going on. I mean, Kill the Gloom Hunter gets us a card. They're obviously short on lands. They really want that to go up. Well, they're not short on lands. They always look like mountains to me. Blue-white wizards spells. Well, he is a doctor, so they want to get rid of the Shadow Cat, really. But this is kind of just tying up and bouncing, really, more than anything. So I can double spell here, which is fine. Flash something in. Okay. So I'm going to put that straight back out again, purely because if they get rid of the Gloom Hunter, I want a card out of it. And I gain nothing if they don't. They can do a 3 mana spell to bounce the Gloom Hunter and then destroy the Shadow Cat with the amulet. Yeah, that'd be annoying, but... yeah, okay. So I get a card out of it, so that's fine. Hits my land drop. If anything... that's just made some things a bit easier. Because any 1/1 creatures dying I draw cards, and that's just going to always happen. So I could feed the Swarm then a Hero's Binding as well. Which I could do as a kind of cheeky on the store. Oh, I can't really do it as a cheeky. Okay. So this kind of makes me want to dance. So if I want to double, I can trip spell. So now I've actually got a rogue out for my Thor and my Deadly Alliance. If they kill... I'm happy to chump with the Blightblade. Obviously, they'd be more likely to just pay 4 and make it unblockable, but then they're leaving themselves a little bit open, you might say. That's a Deadly Alliance target, if ever I've seen one. See if they want to bounce it back to their hand with... oh, no. Into the Royal. So definitely sending that. It's a shame. But, you know, they used a Resolute Strike to do it. Good for them. Them little tricky tricks. They've got another one. That's nice. Comes in with a couple of counters on it. So I've got another Rabid Bite in the deck, and I've got a bunch of whatever it's called, Kill the Weak. Yeah, that's annoying. Again, we don't really have those fly defences. There's no reason to hold that. Okay, I'll send that in, and if they want to double block it, it draws me a card. holding things open. The clock is still not in my favour. They've got a wizard, they've got a rogue. This is only going to cost them 3. So they can do that a couple of times. They can do it twice. Gives me no reason to not. I can thwart the grave back a Gloom Hunter as a 1/1 flyer. So I'm taking 6. I'm dishing out 3. I don't like that. I'm going to have to just thwart the grave back the Horn Beetle. They're probably thinking you can't win, and they would be correct. And thus goes our 1/3 with a completely different deck. I mean, not attacking is a way of us keeping in the game for another turn. Alas, we remain at Platinum 4 with a 1/3. Well, if you get to see this video, thank you very much for watching. Much appreciated. If you don't, which is probably more likely the case, then, well, I'll see you possibly in the next one. Bye.